Hello, welcome back to the show with Noah Martinez. I'm your host, Noah Martinez, and tonight we're going to be having Stanford alumni William O'Neill Braxton III. He's going to be answering any college concerns questions any of you might have. So let's have a nice warm welcome for our buddy, William.
Hi, man. How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Well, I feel great too. Yeah.
How do you feel?
So I feel great.
Really?
Yeah, so William,
Okay.
that's a long name. Can I call you Will for short?
Yeah, all my friends call me Will.
Okay, good. So, William, you went to Stanford for 7 years, right?
Yep, 7 years.
So that's a long time. I guess that makes you an expert on knowing how to survive college.
Yeah, it does. I guess you could say that.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your college experience.
Well, I went to Stanford, and my first couple of years of the 7 years that I went were really hard for me. I almost dropped out a couple of times, to be honest with you. I just had a hard time keeping up in class, staying organized, getting homesick and what have you.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about all that rough stuff.
Yeah, I was very homesick. I just felt really alone sometimes, and
Maybe lost in life.
yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, and it was just hard for me, especially because I didn't know what career or what major I wanted to pursue at the time.
Well, that sounds tough.
Well, yeah, there was also even one instance where I was jumped
Is that right?
in
During your
in the-
sophomore year?
That's
Your sophomore year?
yeah, it was my sophomore year. I didn't know.
Lucky guess.
Well, yeah, I was jumped by 14 gangsters,
That's
all different gangs.
that's crazy.
14 different gangs.
Well, going into college, for personally, I envision a lot of partying.
Yeah, well, everyone thinks that,
Yeah.
Everyone comes in thinking, oh, it's just gonna be parties and games, and for the most part, that's true. There's a lot of parties, but you have to find time to do your schoolwork and to study. And my freshman year, I joined a fraternity, and it really helped me. I really liked it a lot, but I realized that it does cost money.
Yeah.
It does require a lot of commitment, and it also takes up a lot of your time.
That may be true, but I still recommend it. See, it's a great way to network, to create these connections.
It is. It really is.
So it seems, from what you're telling me, you had a lot on your plate. How did you manage your time throughout all of this?
I learned it's so important
Mhm.
that you have a planner or calendar. It keeps you up to track when you're a full-time student, when you are a full-time worker maybe, or working part-time, when you want to visit family, and it just helps you keep up with everything so you don't forget, and to keep up in class, and stay on top of all your schoolwork basically.
Yeah, otherwise you face the risk of falling behind in class.
Yeah. True.
So, was it hard keeping in class, and when you did start to fall behind, what did you do to catch up?
After my first semester, I really realized that it was important, like you said earlier, to really network, to have somebody to bounce ideas off, to copy notes off of when you weren't in class, to study with, and also...
And maybe even someone to just talk to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And when my grades began to slip a little bit in the beginning, I made sure to consult my professor
Yeah.
and see if there was any extra credit work or
Yeah.
anything I could do to get back on track.
Yeah, not only that, there's tutors that can help you with that. And counselors. So other than that, that sounds pretty stressful.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
I think I might have some idea.
Oh, huh?
I went to Colombia
Oh,
for
Columbia
4
College.
years. No, not the college.
Oh, just Columbia?
Yeah.
Columbia?
And so
That's cool.
I'm aware you became very depressed, huh? How'd you cope with that? How'd you cope with that depression?
Well, basically, there's a lot of counselors on campus, and
Yeah.
that's a really good resource for you to use. There's doctors, you can see professionals on and off campus, and basically, you really just gotta stay away from negative people,
Yeah.
right?
Cut off the toxics.
Cut off the toxics, I couldn't say it better, and just make sure you stay away from drugs, don't drink too much. I actually just had a recent bout with drinking. And yeah, and I just overcame that just now.
Well, good for you, good for you.
Thank you.
And other than that, there's some ways to combat depression, like having some time for yourself, doing the activities that you enjoy. Is that right? The things that you love. Is that correct?
Correct. You know, what also helps is talking to a loved one. And
When we say loved one, what do we mean? Do we mean something romantic?
anybody. It could be family, it could be your romantic partner, it could be
Friends?
your dog, anybody.
Yeah.
And it's so easy when you're homesick to connect with somebody. I mean, there's text, there's FaceTime, there's call, there's Snapchat, there's Vimo, there's Cash App. There's so many different things that you could use. And it's so easy. More people need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I've yet to get into the Snapchat game myself.
Yeah. Add me.
Oh, let's not forget about it. You mentioned something about getting jumped and robbed earlier, right?
Yep, 14 gangs, there's 14 cars.
If you don't mind, you don't feel embarrassed, could you talk about that? Like expand.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a little rough for me to talk about, but basically one night I was coming back from a party.
A party? Was it nighttime?
It was, yes.
Guessed it. Mm-hmm.
And it was around 2 to 3-ish. And I was walking back to my dorm.
Yeah?
I had both my headphones in, AirPod 2 Blacks. And I don't know, somehow I just crossed some people. And
Yeah.
on my way home, 14 cars just came up upon me.
14 different gangs, huh?
14 different gangs, 14 different members, 14 different cars. And they just got me.
See,
They got me.
I'm not trying to roast you or anything, but maybe you could have had someone with you, someone that was trustworthy.
That's true.
So, someone, because you gotta feel safe, right, when you're out there in this dangerous world. You gotta have someone with you. Someone who you got their back, they got yours.
Of course, yeah.
And you know what? There's also UPDs on campus in case of emergencies.
I did not mention that. Yes, UPDs.
Yeah, UPDs. Those are good.
University Police
Departments.
UPDs. Great resource.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to cut you off right there. We have a commercial break, but stay tuned because we're gonna be talking about how to switch your majors once we get back.
That's good.
And we're back. We're here with William O'Neill Braxton III.
Third time.
We're gonna be talking about majors, and it could be tough to decide which one you're gonna go with.
Oh, definitely.
So, from my understanding, you went into the Stanford University with the major of criminal justice. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually double majored. I was a criminal justice and marine biology major.
Marine biology.
Yeah, I enjoy both. But I changed.
Did you end up sticking with those majors?
No, I changed a lot of times. Yeah.
How many times did you change your
I
major?
don't know, like
Will?
6 or 7, I don't know, 8 or 9 times. I don't remember exactly, umpteen times.
Okay.
No.
So tell us about the process of switching from major A to major B to major C.
Okay, well, basically, a lot of colleges, each college is a little different, but basically you go online and you choose which major you want to get into, and from there you fill out some forms and you can take that to your counselor, and basically then you just change your majors. So, and it could be harder or easier depending on how impacted the major is, of course.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
And which major did you end up sticking with?
I went into social care and student affairs, and also office supplies and everything under the umbrella that deals with people.
That's insane.
I'm a people person.
That is insane.
I'm a people person. I get that a lot. I'm a people person.
That's exactly, literally, for that. Those are exactly the same majors that I.
That's why they call me expert. That's why I make big bucks.
I majored in those exact majors.
Really? Really?
Yes, and I'm not lying about that. Straight out of Columbia, 4 years.
Wow. I did 7, and that's just.
Well, we had a nice little talk with William O'Neill Braxton III.
3 times.
We talked about college concerns and how to deal with them. We talked about depression and how to cope with it.
Yeah.
We talked about homesickness.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, we talked about time management and how important that is to your grades.
Yeah, it's your foundation, and we also, talked about switching your majors and
Major switching. We left out a big one. Safety. We
Safety.
want all of you to
Safety
be
on
safe.
campus.
Don't do drugs or alcohol. But if you do, have a friend to be with you. Be safe. We'll see you next time. Good night.